Hey everybody, Johnny here. Don't speak news. News you're not supposed to speak about, and we've got some of that pulled up right now. Now, this is what I put up when I was away from the channel video-wise for a couple of days. I also put a lot of things up on Twitter and also the community page on the channel while I've been away taking care of these guys. And no, we don't own the horses. We rent on this ranch, and occasionally the landlord goes away for a couple of days, and then I take care of them. So that's where I've been. But I have been putting a lot of updates on Telegram, Twitter, and so on. This one from Telegram from the other day. And so far, none of this has played out, thank goodness, because the Kiev regime was preparing some bloody provocations on the eve of Easter. Now, that came from the Russian Defense Ministry. And of course, a lot of these provocations would have been blamed on Russia creating a flag, which is false, right? We have to be careful how we say these things, but who knows what the algorithm's looking for this week. So we're just going to go with it. So anyway, none of this has happened, thank goodness. But even the Orthodox Church had been warned about provocations playing out inside of Ukraine over Easter weekend, maybe even in Russia as well. But it didn't happen, so thank goodness for that. Now moving on to the news of today. Russia ultimatum to Israel. Moscow has threatened to arm Hamas and Hezbollah with Russian weapons over the rift between Putin and Bennett over Ukraine. So you can see they're having an intense discussion here. And I'm sure they've had quite a few as the Russia-Israeli crisis is deepening, with Moscow sending an ultimatum and directly threatening the Israeli leadership with retaliation through Hamas and Hezbollah if it supplies Ukraine with military equipment. Now, a couple of things they're upset about were armored vests and so on. I'm trying to find the exact thing that they're sending over. But this shouldn't be any surprise to Russia because this has happened before. Right here from Haaretz. What was this? Back in 2018, I believe. And human rights activists petitioned the courts in Israel to cease Israeli arms exports to Ukraine since some of these weapons reached the neo-Nazi elements in Ukraine. And here they are, holding Israeli-made weapons as a Poer rifle made in Israel. So that was going on in 2018. Here's 2022. Israeli weapons seen used by neo-Nazi Ukrainian unit against Russia. So can you blame them for being upset? Because it continues. The Matador is an anti-armor weapon joint produced with Israel and has recently been seen used by the Azov battalion, which has been widely characterized as neo-Nazi ideologically. And look at their flags. Look at their symbols. Look at their tattoos, guys. It's all over Telegram. It's all over Twitter and such, but nobody will show you here in the West. Well, that's one of the reasons I'm here. But there's an anti-armor weapon jointly developed by Israel, Singapore, and a German company that's been seen in operational use by the neo-Nazi Azov battalion against Russian military forces. So can you blame them for being upset? Just like they're upset with the West because they're sending weapons and such. And now British special forces are training local troops in Ukraine, serving UK soldiers around the ground for the first time. And Russia's come out and said in their media, which you won't see in the West, that now they can officially say that London, they said, has entered the war. And now the island of London itself is a legitimate target. So it's coming, guys. It's just a matter of when. In the meantime, everybody keeps rattling sabers. British Special Forces have trained local troops in Kiev for the first time since the war began with Russia. Well, I don't think they ever really left, guys. They may be rotating some new guys in, maybe rotating a few out, but they never really left. Neither did Delta Force for the USA, the French Foreign Legion. There's a bunch of foreign troops there, not just mercenaries, but actual regular troops. Anyway, officers from 2 battalions stationed in and around the capital said they had undergone military training, one last week and the other the week before. So Great Britain is there, guys, and they're training the Ukrainian National Forces now, as I'm speaking to you. And here it is. Britain threatens to use NATO nuclear weapons without consulting anyone. And Russia said they've located the SAS forces in Ukraine, and now they're telling them your island is the #1 target. Of course, that's the propaganda arm of the Russian media. But anyway, British SAS forces have entered Ukraine, Russian media reported, noting that they're experts in sabotage operations and guerrilla warfare. Their goal is to carry out attacks in Crimea, southern and eastern Ukraine, on Russian-controlled territory. Now, Moscow is threatening to say that this could be considered an official entry of Britain into the war against Russia. Russia-Britain tensions have escalated in the last 48 hours, with Johnson threatening Russia with non-NATO nuclear weapons. So he says Russia has said that London has entered the war against us. The appearance of the British SAS Special Forces in Lviv can be considered as a direct entry of London into an armed conflict with Russia. And then they added, London continues to show pure hostility towards Moscow. Great Britain sent military forces to the territory of Ukraine. We're talking about at least 24 members of the Special Forces of the well-known SAS of the United Kingdom Armed Forces. The British forces were sent in 2 groups of 12 each, specializing in sabotage, guerrilla warfare, coup plotting, mass demonstrations, the assassination of state leaders, the recruitment of agents, and the preparation of terrorist attacks. And they are currently at the disposal of the 16th Army Air Brigade, Brody, 16th Brigade Military Unit A2595, checkpoint B3765, in the city of the same name in the Lviv region. The British arrived from Hereford, England, where the SAS Cretan Hill training base is located, and the 22nd SAS Regiment is parked. British Special Forces in Lviv can be seen as a direct entry of Great Britain into an armed conflict with Russia. So as you can see, guys, they took great detail here and time to put great detail into their statement. They told you where they came from, they told you where they landed, and where they're located now. And that they consider this an official entry into the war against Russia by London or the UK. Because it's all out in the open now. Nobody's denying it. Nobody's denying it. So, yeah, this is actual war. Russian troops are dying because of what these SAS troops have done and are going to do. And what NATO has done and is still doing right now, including real-time intelligence from their AWACS aircraft, showing Russia or showing Ukraine where everything is, where, all of Russia's positions. So, of course, they can accurately bomb them or shoot rockets at them like they did with the Moscow missile cruiser a couple of weeks ago. Russia lost a lot more sailors than they're admitting to. That was, a lot of people are saying that was their version of Pearl Harbor. Well, we shall see. Right now, just a lot of threats, just a lot of rumors, as usual. But as usual, we need to keep our eye on these things because any one of them could escalate into full-blown war. So remember, God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So don't be afraid. Just be aware, okay? And keep preparing. Now, obviously, keep praying. Get yourself right with God and with Jesus Christ so that you know where you're going when you leave this life, because it could end today for any reason. We're not guaranteed any amount of time here. So always be prayed up first and ready to go, because the next step is for all eternity, guys. So make sure you're going to the right place. All right. Don'tSpeakNews.com, home base for everything else that we do. We do have a fundraiser going for April 2022, and we thank you very, very much for all those who have contributed thus far. Without you guys, we don't stick around. And thank you very, very much for the prayers as well. We have been under a lot of attack here. Me in particular with these electronic attacks. Of course, the spiritual attacks are always happening, but the electronic warfare, they have stepped it up big time with the smart meters and, the 5G and everything else that's around us now. So, and everything that they spray every day. So thank you very much for your prayers. But this is home base for everything that I do. In the event that the YouTube channel goes down, which could happen anytime, this is where I'll be. Don'tSpeakNews.com. And of course, there's almost 800 stories here and videos that you can check out. So lots of stuff, especially on things that we cannot speak about anywhere else. Don'tSpeakNews.com. All right. That is it for now. I'll keep my eyes on things as always. God bless. Take care. Johnny Storm. Don't speak.